Come on, all together now. Just keep swimming, just keep swimming. Finding Dory. I was not sure what I was gonna think about this one. On premise, it struck me as odd because Finding Nemo seemed like such a complete story, and featuring secondary characters as leads in spin-offs usually doesn't work very well. You can just look at the fourth Parts of the Caribbean for an idea of what I'm talking about. And then the first trailer came out, and the first trailer really just made it look like they made Finding Nemo again, except they have to rescue Dory instead of Nemo. So I was really kind of nervous going into this. I didn't have to be, though. It's good. It's solid. I do think it's getting a bit overpraised right now. You look at its Rotten Tomatoes percentage, and it's like it's in the 90s, and people, they're going, oh, it's amazing. It's good. It is good Pixar. It's not quite at the level some people are saying that it is. But you know what? We'll get to nitpicks in a bit. Let's start with what's good. Well, Dory's good. Dory remains good. They managed to circumvent a lot of the problems that usually happens when you take a side character and make them the main character, because they get her into some really good relationships with other characters, mostly with Hank the octopus. And the two of them work really well as a double act. It lends itself to a lot of physical comedy with the way that Hank moves, and having him be able to move her around this sort of aquarium facility where she's looking to her parents solves a lot of the logistical problems of how do you get a fish around a place that was built to allow for people to move, not for fish to be able to get from one place to another. Returning characters work well. There are some really good new characters. Like I said, Hankey's kind of the highlight. There's some other nice ones as well. There's a lot of really sweet moments, particularly in regards to some of the flashbacks we get with Dory's parents. And you know what, if you're, I don't know how kids are going to respond on this level, but certainly if you're an adult, and if you're an adult with kids, yeah, it's gonna hit you right there. As Pixar has a tendency to do. We should be used to that part by now. The humor all works very well. A surprising amount of it actually does not depend on Dory's short-term memory loss. I mean, that's still a thing, but it's actually now more a plot function than it is a running joke, because the fact that she can't remember things is a big obstacle to her trying to find her parents. And so it becomes a hurdle, and her sort of working around this disability that she's got. I don't know if it was intentional, but I feel like working around and coping with disability is kind of a running theme of this particular film. Arguably it was in Nemo as well, but I think it's really big here because you've got Dory, Nemo's still there with his wonky fin, Hank is missing a tentacle, there's other characters like Destiny and Becky, and there's this beluga whale whose name I forget. There's a lot of characters with some form of disability, something that is holding them back that they have to find a way to work around. And I don't think it's a message that necessarily bangs you over the head with it, but it does seem to be running through the film, and I think that's kind of interesting. Now, as I said, there are some nitpicky things, there are some things holding this back. Honestly, I kind of wonder if Nemo and Marlin should have been in this really at all, past maybe the opening segment and then again at the end. Them trying to find Dory as Dory is also trying to find her parents, I'm not sure that really works. They feel tacked on. They feel like they're there to pad the runtime a bit and give us a break from Dory. Now, finding a way to give us a break from Dory is probably necessary to keep her from becoming annoying, which she could have if she appeared too frequently. But nothing that they do really moves the plot forward in any way. They're just always several steps behind her. And another thing, and this is a general thing that it's hard for me to quite pin down and articulate, but I'll try. It feels like they tried to reverse engineer some of what worked in Finding Nemo, because a big part of what worked about Finding Nemo is it kind of had that road trip feel where they encounter these various odd characters as they go along. But the way it felt in Finding Nemo was they had the story, and we got to get them from A to B. They'll run into these obstacles, and they looked at, okay, what's the opportunities for what interesting characters that we can have them run into along the way. And so you get the sharks, you get the school of fish that do the charades thing, you get Nigel the pelican, you get the fish tank gang and all that. It feels like a little bit in this one that they came up with all the characters that they wanted Dory and the others to interact with, and then figured out a way to get them in later. Well, some of them are very organic and work. I mentioned Hank, he's fine. Destiny and the beluga whale are okay, but then there's others like the seals that just keep showing up, and they're not bad, but I don't understand why we're lingering on them as much. And it feels like they went, oh, we came up with these seal characters, let's get them in there, when that they're not as organic. But of course, these are nitpicky adult watching kids entertainment things. If you have kids, your kids are gonna love this. They're gonna have a great time. There's some great slapstick. It moves well. Most of the characters are funny and work. It's sweet. It's touching. This is not some of Pixar's best, but it is Pixar just working like clockwork. They know how to do this stuff, and they do it well, and it works. So that's my thoughts on Finding Dory. Have you seen it? What were your thoughts on it? Whatever they were, drop something down in the comments and let's talk about it. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, follow me on Twitter at Council of Geeks. Check out the Council of Geeks podcast on iTunes and Stitcher. And as for me, I will be back as soon as I can get my next fix.